Jordy.fm. We'll put it in the podcast description as well. All right, let's just touch on this Ukraine phone call, because Thursday, like I said, the acting director of the National Intelligence will be in front of the House Intel Committee for a public hearing. They will ask him, who's the whistleblower? He will say, I can't tell you. They will say, are you prepared to hand over the complaint? Maybe. We're still looking at that question. That's what I would guess, right? They're not going to say no. They're going to say, we need more time to think about it.
And they're going to reference the Justice Department as well, and their ruling on this.
Oh, did the OLC come out with something?
Not the OLC, but direction given by the Justice Department is that this is above board for McGuire to release the whistleblower's identity.
It's above board? What do you mean? It's not he's not obligated to?
Yes.
Okay. And then supposedly this is when we're going to see that, the Democrats. And here's what's sort of suspicious to me about the whole thing. Why I'm sorry. I don't trust Nancy Pelosi on this. We have been told time and time again, they're already starting it. Don't you understand? Nancy Pelosi is, this is like 14 dimension chess. We've been told, right? Impeachment proceedings are starting. Although then she went into a meeting, as reported by Politico the other day, and said, you guys are going too fast on this. Then she writes a Dear Colleague letter to all members on the whistleblower complaint. We're going to expect Joseph McGuire to turn over the whistleblower's full complaint to the committee. We also expect he will establish a path for the whistleblower to speak directly to the House and Senate Intelligence Committees as required by law. She notes that the IC's Inspector General, who is appointed by Trump, has determined the complaint is both of, quote, urgent concern and credible. And its disclosure relates to, this is a quote, to one of the most significant and important of the Director of National Intelligence responsibilities to the American people. She cites a federal statute which unequivocally states the DNI shall provide Congress this information. We must be sure the president and his administration are always conducting our national security and foreign policy in the best interest of the American people, not the president's personal or political interests. Feels like that ship may have already sailed. She closes, if the administration persists in blocking this whistleblower from disclosing to Congress a serious possible breach of constitutional duties by the president, they will be entering a grave new chapter of lawlessness, which will take us into, quote, a whole new stage of investigation. What is the whole new stage? I thought we were already there. Why? And if we're not there, why have we not been there? I mean, this is where she's basically conceding, I've been stepping on the brakes. And again, it's conditional. Look, it's enough that they haven't handed this over. It's enough that they've said to Congress multiple times over and over again, we're not going to provide you the information that you need for oversight, not just the Mueller investigation, everything. The EPA, the Bureau of Land Management, the USDA, all of it. Stuff that we don't even talk about because it's all been sat on by the Democrats. It's infuriating. And every day we just watch them attempt to spin this stuff and conflate it with other things. Let's start with clip number 2. We're going to play clip number 1 again, but we're going to play clip number 2 first. This is where Donald Trump is saying on Sunday, Trump, I don't know, he was trying to audition as an extra in the Chernobyl series, I guess here. But he admits that he asked Ukrainian President Zelensky to look into Joe Biden. Very odd thing to ask in the context of but
it's a nice conversation.
Yeah, we had a lot of stuff. We've been spending a lot of time on the Biden case.
We had a great conversation. The conversation I had was largely congratulatory, was largely corruption, all of the corruption taking place, was largely the fact that we don't want our people, like Vice President Biden and his son, creating to the corruption already in the Ukraine. In Ukraine, Ukraine's got a lot of problems. The new president is saying that he's going to be able to rid the country of corruption. And I said that would be a great thing. We had a great conversation. We had a conversation on many things. In fact, I believe Ukraine put out a statement yesterday saying that we covered many different topics. It was a warm and friendly conversation. I backed Ukraine from the beginning.
Okay, so he admits that he talked about Biden, raised Biden up because of all the massive corruption that the Biden family has been involved in Ukraine, according to him. Right, that's been the when people talk about Ukrainian corruption, as opposed to talking about Biden's corruption, let's say, people always bring up Biden. I'm being facetious. Hunter Biden, I don't know why he was sitting on that board, but I can tell you, if that was the most corrupt thing about Ukraine, in terms of the way they'd be doing all right. And Rudy Giuliani, also slowly losing his mind, is adamant that the president did not threaten to cut off aid to Ukraine. And by adamant, I mean maybe not totally adamant.
Did the president threaten to cut off aid to the Ukraine?
No, that was a false story.
100%.
Well, I can't tell you if it's 100%.
Because we know that the administration did delay U.S. aid to Ukraine.
The Wall Street Journal also fails in its false article today. It fails to point out on the headlines on Saturday in the Ukraine, but the Ukrainian version of this story. Ukraine says no pressure.
Right, no pressure, no collusion, none of that. Remember, no pressure. So there you go. Almost a 100% did not threaten to cut off aid to Ukraine. I bring you back to the clip that we started with at the beginning of the show. This is Trump today, correct? Now, to be fair, it's a full 24 hours later. Sometimes I wonder if Trump just wants to make Rudy Giuliani look like an ass, because here he is admitting that indeed he did threaten to cut off. He gave an ultimatum. Listen carefully.
What did you tell the Ukrainian president about Joe Biden and his son during your phone call?
Well, you're going to see, because what we are doing is we want honesty. And if we deal with a country, we want honesty. And I think with the new president, you're going to see much more honesty in the Ukraine. And that's what we're looking for. We're supporting a country. We want to make sure that country is honest. It's very important to talk about corruption. If you don't talk about corruption, why would you give money to a country that you think is corrupt? One of the reasons the new president...
That's it right there, folks. He couldn't help himself. And the reason is he's afraid that the transcript is going to come out. So he's trying to reinterpret the way it's going to sound to us. When he says, if you do not go after Biden, who is corrupt, we're not going to give you money.
Then I'll think you're corrupt.
And then I'll think you're corrupt.
And not nice.
And so he may have said something like, so you're going to go after Biden, right? If you want the money. And he probably said that about 8 times.
If it took 8 times, I assume that even the prime minister's like, yeah, you mean, we have protocols that we're going to follow, or something non-committal like that.
Or it could be one of those situations where Trump keeps saying it and the prime minister just says something different. Like, you're going to go after Biden, right? If you want the money. And the prime minister says, how's Melania? She's wonderful. But you're going to go after Biden, right? If you want the money. Tell me something about your club in Miami. Can anybody join? But you're going to go after Biden, right? Because he's corrupt. If you want the money.
What was Trump quoted as saying to Comey? Like, I hope we can see this through, or see past this.
Right. There's always like this type of stuff. But I think they seem to be a little bit nervous about this, but who knows? Certainly Rudy Giuliani's doing the old, I guarantee it, 100%. Well, not 100%. But the point remains, and here's Mehdi Hassan talking about this. The point remains, everything that Donald Trump is doing, it goes from being on Donald Trump, and I've said this for a